Hey, what's going on? It's Jeff with All for Truth. Hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to talk about the moon a little bit because I've just been thinking about a lot about it this last week. It's been a full moon, and although the chemtrails have been extremely heavy here in North Carolina, I still have been able to see the moon, and there was a huge halo around it, the biggest one I've literally ever seen, probably about 3 days ago, and it was really, really cool to look at that, and I was just mesmerized by it, and I found myself staring at the moon and the stars so much these past couple of years, a year and some change. It's really cool, man. I mean, I have a new appreciation for the sky and the world around me, and that's really all thanks to the idea of the flat Earth. And I don't know if the Earth is flat. I don't know what the shape of the Earth is because I've never been high enough to look. I've never the airplanes I've been in, you can see the horizon being flat as a board, absolutely zero curvature. Yet people still they still cling to the ball notion and the fact that we're rotating every day, and then still whipping through space. And a lot of these things have boggled my mind since I was a kid, I specifically remember being taught about the globe as a child and thinking to myself, that doesn't make sense how all the water sticks to it, but, obviously we all take it in and we all begin to believe it at some point. But me personally, I spent a lot of time at the beach as a child because my stepmother's father had a house at the coast of North Carolina, and it was, it wasn't right on the ocean, but it was on the canal. It was, a stone's throw from right on the beach. So basically, every summer, my stepmom was a school teacher, so she had the summers off, and I had summers off as a child. So, we went to the beach and we would stay there all summer. And I spent a lot of time looking across the ocean and seeing how flat and peaceful it was. I've been deep sea fishing a number of times and been 10 miles out. I've never been on a cruise, but I have been, 10 miles out. You don't see any land around you whatsoever, um, most days. Some days you can see farther than others, and that proves to me that's atmospheric conditions. But anyways, when you're out there and there's no land around you, you get an idea and a sense of how huge this world is and how little we are. And I think it's easy to say, well, yeah, that's why it's definitely a sphere. You just can't tell, and it's easy to think that, but there's a lot of things that you start to look into that just don't fit NASA's, model. And one of the main things to me is the moon. So, first of all, the moon landings are definitely, in my opinion, fake. Uh, they lost all their telemetry data. They lost all their video reels, all their footage of, you know, pictures, video, anything they had. They lost all that stuff from Apollo. We're talking about, not like a CD-ROM of information. We're talking about warehouses of information, boxes of papers, of documents, of video reels. It's insane the amount of footage they should have had. They should still have, and they claim to have lost. You don't just lose a grocery store's worth of shit. Um, anyways, so I just don't think that the moon is something that can necessarily even be landed on at this point. And beyond that, one of the biggest smoking guns of the NASA model, the heliocentric model, I guess it's not really theirs, but their whole theory isn't, as a whole, doesn't make sense. I mean, because of this right here. If you take one of these, it's a infrared thermometer, non-contact infrared thermometer. You shine this little laser. See there? You shine it at it gives you the surface temperature of anything you're trying to get. So the first time I saw one of these used was in the restaurant I used to work at, and the health inspector was using it to, check out the grease temperature or whatever. You can also check it like if you got a big griddle where you cook pancakes, you can see what, if there's a hot spot on your grill so it doesn't burn your food or stuff like that. Anyways, if you go outside with one of these on a full moon night when it's above you, you can take this little infrared laser, shine it down on the ground where the moonlight's coming down, and you want to get it where the moonlight's been hitting it nicely for a little while, and you want to take that temperature. And what you're going to notice is the moonlight is cooler than the shade around it. So the areas that are not illuminated by the moon will be warmer than the areas that are lit up by the moon. So, NASA tells us that the moon is light that is, reflected from the sun. It bounces off the moon and comes to us. So, in theory, if anything, it wouldn't have an effect. If it was just, it should be warmer though. I mean, but yeah, I guess they could say it wouldn't have an effect, but it certainly wouldn't be cold. So what kind of light is cold? I mean, it doesn't make sense, and it's clearly the case. I mean, I've done it 5 or 6 times myself. I'm trying to do it again tonight. Hopefully, if there's not heavy chemtrailing the way there has been, day after day here since the moon's been almost full, and pretty much every other day since I've started noticing them several years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy with the chemtrails around here in North Carolina, and pretty much all across the U.S. from what I've seen. But but beyond that, so the moon just doesn't make sense. Who knows what this thing really is? China, they supposedly went there with this piece of garbage right here. I mean, look at this thing. It looks like a crinkled up piece of tinfoil. I mean, and I feel bad for them because I think that they have to keep it looking kind of similar with US, because we did such a shit job of our moon landing in '69. And I guess in '69 it was pretty good, maybe. I think that gold tinfoil and all that fooled a lot of people. I mean, people are still fooled today, but my dad, I give credit to my dad because my dad told me as a child that the moon landing was bullshit. He said, "Don't believe what those, scientists tell you all the time." He's always told me this, as an adult and as a child. And so I appreciate that from him, just giving me the thought to question science. And I spent a lot of time looking across the ocean and thinking, when does it start turning into when do you start dropping downhill, and how does the water stick, and all these other things. And I used to love to dig humongous holes at the beach. I would just dig, 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 and I would bury myself or bury my little brother or whatever. And I'd always ask my stepmom, so if you just keep digging, you're just gonna hit China one day, or you're just gonna end up on the other side of the world? And she'd say, yeah, but you couldn't do it because of there's liquid, hot magma and all this other stuff. Well, that's another thing. How the hell did they know that? The farthest we've ever drilled is 8 miles. So, I mean, and that was Russia. And, Russians are crazy as shit. So, of course they went the deepest, but that's a scary thought. We've only gone 8 miles. That's a long way, really, but even still, that's not even penetrating the crust of the earth. So tell me, how is it that we know? And also, we're supposed to supposedly have a magnetic core at the earth of liquid, liquid iron and metal or whatever. And supposedly, liquid metal is not even magnetic. So that's another thing. I mean, it's just, there's fact after fact after fact that they give you that is incomplete, I don't even, it's completely not making sense with the rest of their theory, and they just get away with it. And I don't get how they get away with it all this time. But I think the time's running out for NASA and all these space agencies. They get $50 million a day, people. 50 million. So with $50 million a day, I mean, I personally believe if you gave me $1 million a day for 2 years or even just a year, I could figure out some way, with the help of others and, with the funding is what I'm saying, I could make it happen where I could take something, some kind of craft high enough to look for my damn self and the rest of humanity, because I wouldn't keep it the way the government has, away from people. And we could really know. And that's just one piece, of NASA's money. 1 million a day. They get 50 million a day. So what I say to all the round earth people and all the flat earth people is leave it alone for now. What we need to do is we need to take NASA out. NASA's got to go. 50 million a day. And they haven't done shit except for lie to the people, do little press conferences from their, International Space Station that supposedly has been flying in low Earth orbit for 17 years without, any trouble, any issues, nothing. NASA has so many things. The 1986, the hoax from that. I mean, the blowing up space shuttle mission, that was a hoax. The people are still alive today. There's so many things that we don't know as human beings, and we say, oh, we're just never gonna know. A lot of people say that. Well, we can't prove it. Yes, the fuck we can. If we had 50 million a day, the only way we can't prove it is if there's no way to get high enough to tell. But even still, I believe you'd be able to, with the funding that they have, we would be able to make this happen to prove to humanity once and for all what the shape of this earth really is. So, I mean, it's ridiculous that in 2017, as smart as we think we are, the pinnacle of intelligence on Earth, it's a fucking joke. And I don't know. I don't know if the Earth's flat. I don't know if it's round. You know, I got my suspicions, but all I'm saying is, go out here with one of these. You can get one from Lowe's for 20 bucks. Lowe's or Home Depot or any hardware store. Try to support local if you got one. There's not even a local fucking hardware store where I live anymore. They just don't exist most of the time unless you live in a small town. So, anyways, you can get one of those for 20 bucks. Go outside. Check out the moonlight. In the, all these songs about in the cool moonlight, all this crap, The moonlight is cold, I'm telling you. When it shines down, it has a cooling effect. And the sun has a warming effect. And, I don't know. I mean, what does that mean? Why is NASA lying about that? What else are they lying about? That's where I started. I started with that. Because there was a YouTube video that had caught my attention about the moonlight. And I mean, it's incredible, Also, in 2015, NASA gave a $1 million grant to a theological organization to study the religious implications of extraterrestrial life. Alright? So they're giving millions of dollars for a 2-year study, to find out what it would mean to Christianity and other religions if they disclosed alien life. And you got all this Project Bluebeam talk and all this alien invasion talk. So, I feel like they're gearing up, because I think they know their time's running out. And I think they should have mind fucked us a long time ago. If they really wanted to go full scale, they should have done it back in, the time when, that broadcast about War of the Worlds came on and everybody had panic. I mean, imagine if they'd had the technology. It just never quite works out for them good enough. There's always enough good people out there that are ready to speak truth and ready to, not afraid to be ridiculed. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy every day. But less people think you're crazy every day if you speak truth. You've got to be loud and you got to be proud with what you believe. And there's going to be times when you're wrong, but who cares? It's okay to be wrong, and that's what science is about, is trying to prove theories, and in order to prove something right, you got to try to prove it wrong. So check this out here. This was a really awesome quick video of a sunset, and you're gonna see that this video shows the sunset, and the sun is clearly moving away from the observer, from the camera. So watch this. It's not because the big, ball Earth is rotating, watch this, it becomes basically a pin dot in the sky. And the reason for this being is wherever they film this is it's a really thin atmosphere. You know, it was obviously a really low humidity day. Sorry about that. Basically, a really dense atmosphere with high humidity will cause atmospheric lensing. You can look it up. Check out Rob Skiba. He did a video um, about a week ago that was really good about atmospheric lensing regarding the Chicago skyline. So if you haven't watched his video, just check it out. I know a lot of people just can't even, they just start rolling their eyes immediately with the flat Earth thing, and you know, I don't know. It's not a globe. That's all I know. I don't know if it's flat or not. I'm not worried about that. I just know that we need to take down NASA, and if we had their funding as the public, as good people, and, their shit would be over, and the gig would be up for them. The deception would be over. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna leave it let this little star video play for a second real quick, and that'll be it. Appreciate y'all watching till the end if you did. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I mean, this is what a star looks like through a telescope, and I mean, I urge you, if you have your own telescope, or if you don't, go get one. Look at the sky, see what's up there, because it's not what we're being told, So come join All for Truth if you haven't already. We've got merch online. We got sweatshirts, shirts, mugs, thermoses, all kinds of cool stuff. Just check out All for Truth. A lot of good conversation going on there. We need more people, more outspoken people in the community trying to spread truth. I mean, so let's do it right, people. Peace.